regular meeting order. Call roll.
Mayor Quero.
Here.
Councilmember Swanson.
Here.
Mabry.
Here.
Gomez.
Here.
Newman.
Here. Please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Start off tonight. Have any public comment? We'll go to the approval of minutes to Commissioner Newman.
Thank you, Mayor. I move that we approve the minutes from our regular council meeting on August 5th, 2019.
Second.
Motion's been seconded. Any comments or corrections? Call roll.
Councilmember Swanson.
Aye.
Mabry.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
Newman.
Aye.
Mayor Quero.
Aye. We'll go to approval of invoices with City Clerk Nelson.
In the Department of Accounts and Finances, we have invoices this period totaling $156,452.50. In the Department of Streets and Public Improvements, we have invoices totaling $189,401.75. In the Department of Public Safety, we have invoices totaling $107,429.59. And in the Department of Property and Utilities, we have invoices totaling $807,499.62. Mayor, all council members present have confirmed their reviews of all invoices and now are submitted for disposition.
I move that we approve the invoices as presented.
Second.
Motion's been seconded. Any comments or corrections? Call roll.
Councilmember Swanson.
Aye.
Mabry.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
Newman.
Aye.
Mayor Quero.
Aye. Now we'll go to regular business, and I'm going to open a hearing to receive comments on a community development block grant. The City of Princeton intends to apply to the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity for a grant from the state CDBG program. This program is funded by Title I of the Federal Housing and Community Development Act of 1974 as amended. These funds will be used for a community development project that includes sanitary sewer line and manhole replacement on East Marion Street from South Euclid to 5th Street. The total amount of the CDBG grant funds to be requested is $500,000. And we have with us tonight Kevin from come up, and just need to make sure the mic is on, Kevin, and
Slide the top button toward you. There you go.
and just your name.
Kevin Lindeman, North Central Illinois Council of Governments. As the Mayor said, we're here for a public hearing on the East Marion Street project. It's going to include replacing about 1,218 lineal feet of 8-inch sanitary sewer line. That area has clay tiles. They're in poor condition. They're cracked. They're offset. There's infiltration in a lot of the areas. So when you get heavy rains, there's backup problems because of that. So the total cost of the CDBG project is estimated to be $774,792.16. This is for construction only. The city's applying for $500,000, as the Mayor said, of CDBG grant funds. Will be leveraged with additional funds of $274,792.16 from the city's sewer fund. These costs don't include $105,731 in costs for grant administration and construction engineering. Grant administration is at $36,000 and construction engineering is at $69,731. The grant does not pay for that; they only pay for construction anymore. If funded, the city will enter into a contract with NCICG for grant administration, and construction engineering is planned to be done by a consulting engineer. No city residents will be displaced as a result of this project. The city does have on file an anti-displacement and relocation assistance plan. I don't know if anybody has any questions up there or in the audience about this project. I'll answer what I can for the engineering side of it.
And this is the same grant that we applied for a couple years ago, and it was awarded to us, and we are currently replacing sanitary sewer in the alley between Central and Clark Street right over here. It's an ongoing project that's going on now. So it's been very good to us in the past. And so do we have any comments from the public? Council?
Okay. A couple more things I got to go over here. There is a total of $14.5 million available in this round of grants. It's due August 29th. At the end of the month to Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity. The maximum amount you can apply for in the community for construction is $500,000. As Chamlin's a consulting engineer, there is no permit required for this project because it's in-kind replacement at the same location as existing facilities. Low to moderate income benefit for this project. The funds for the Illinois Community Development Block Grant are granted to the state from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, that distributes the funds throughout Illinois, except for those communities and counties that get direct entitlement funds, like the larger cities, Rockford, St. Louis, Chicago, Peoria. These funds are dispersed by the state and must meet national goal of benefiting at least 51% low to moderate income individuals. There was an income survey conducted this summer, and it was determined that the low to moderate income benefit exceeds that 51%, is at 54.55%. So of the $500,000 of CDBG funds being requested, $272,750 will directly benefit low to moderate income individuals. And then talking about capital improvement plans is to show that you have a need financially for these funds because you have plans for the city funds well beyond what you have in your coffers to plan out. I was supplied with a 10-year capital improvement plan and listed several, probably about a dozen different items, but totaling over $13 million. Some of them include the wastewater treatment plant upgrades of $2 million, sanitary lift station of $4 million, a total of $600,000, a work truck for the sanitary and storm sewer department for $40,000, sewer lining $1.5 million. So I've got a whole list of projects here showing what the need is for the city, and that's all I've got. It's, the records will be on file at our office at NCICG at 613 West Marquette Street in Ottawa. Our office is open Monday through Friday from 8 to 4. If anyone's interested in viewing the file or discussing the project further, they can call our office at 815-433-5830 or visit during office hours. If there's no other comments, close the public hearing.
Any comments? And I will say this project, if it goes through, if we're successful and we're able to get this grant that goes through, that sanitary sewer runs underneath the street on Marion, so that'll get all new street, curb and gutter. So the benefit to the city will take care of it, obviously, on that end. So if there's nothing further, I'll go ahead and close this hearing on receiving comments on the CDBG grant.
And there's a sign-in sheet going around if people can sign in.
Okay, so we'll go continue with regular business with City Clerk Nelson.
I'll get this here, man.
Next on the agenda is Resolution R-19-030. This is a resolution committing local funds in the amount of $274,792.16 to support the Marion Street Sewer Project. Mayor, all council members have reviewed this resolution and it is submitted for disposition.
I move that we approve Resolution R-19-030.
Second.
Motion's been second. Rachel, anything?
No, that's just a resolution outlining the local funds that are needed for the project that was just discussed by Kevin.
Okay, so the motion has been second. Call roll.
Councilmember Swanson.
Aye.
Mabry.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
Newman.
Aye.
Mayor Querem.
Aye. Thank you, City Clerk Nelson. I'll go City Manager report.
The only thing I have tonight is that we currently have an invitation to bid for an ambulance for the fire department. This is part of the State of Illinois grant that we got for an ambulance, or loan, I should say, low interest loan. So this is an invitation to bid, and it is open right now. It's on our website for anyone that wants information, and it will run through Friday, September 13th at 8:30 a.m. is when they're due.
Thank you, Rachel. Under mayor comments, we're going to have a discussion at the council level on regulating legal marijuana use. I do have want to give some general information on this. On January 1st, 2020, the recreational use of marijuana will be legal in Illinois. Tonight, the council will discuss how legalization affects the city primarily in the area of dispensing or retail sales. If we allow licenses to sell marijuana within the city limits, we can limit the number of licenses to 1 or 2 or more. We can also limit the area of location of sales through a zoning ordinance such as allowing or not allowing retail sales to occur south of railroad tracks, as an example. The law also allows municipality to disallow licenses for retail sales of marijuana and all marijuana businesses altogether. Other marijuana businesses available for licenses are cultivation centers, infusers, which are edibles and lotions, transporters, processors, and craft growers. Regardless of what we end up doing, marijuana use within the city limits will be legal beginning January 1st. The law makes it illegal to smoke marijuana in any public place, parks, streets, sidewalks included. The state's Clean Air Act must also be followed, so no smoking will be allowed in restaurants and bars. While we will be discussing our views tonight, whatever we end up doing must be driven by community sentiment. This is not a decision for 5 people to make on their own. It's important for all of us in our community to consider the pros and cons of this issue before any final decision is made at the council level. It is also paramount importance that when considering what we do, that whatever we do is in the best overall interest of the city. The state is being broken up into districts, Bureau counties and District 17, which includes Bureau, LaSalle, and Putnam counties. The total number of dispensary licenses available in the state will increase on a tier basis, starting small, I believe it's 75 is the number, and growing, so that by the summer of 2022 there will be 500 licenses. I do not know if the state is limiting licenses per district. Our primary and immediate concern is dispensaries for the retail sale of marijuana. It seems logical that the fate of the other marijuana businesses mentioned, as the city of Princeton is concerned, will follow the city's decision regarding dispensaries. Opening a dispensary is expensive. In fact, I think the state of Illinois has the most expensive dispensary license of all states that have legalized recreational marijuana. Anyone interested in a license must fill out an application with the state that includes a non-refundable $5,000 fee. With your application, you must document having $400,000 in liquid assets and have $50,000 in escrow. There's also fingerprinting, background checks, and you must provide previous year's tax returns. If your application is then approved, the first year's permit fee for a dispensary is $30,000. Every year thereafter, the renewal fee is $100,000. And all this does not account for a storefront and everything associated with opening a business and maintaining it. The financial investment ensures that dispensaries will be professionally run. There are pros and cons regarding this issue, and that's what the council will discuss tonight. That said, we will take no action tonight. As I mentioned, this is an issue that must be driven by public sentiment. We want to hear from residents regarding their opinion on the matter. So, prior to our next meeting on September 3rd, we will hold a public hearing beginning at 6:30 p.m. We invite all those who wish to provide an opinion to please attend the hearing so you can be heard. No action will be taken by the council during our meeting that follows the public hearing. At our meeting on September 16th, we will vote on a first reading ordinance to allow marijuana businesses in town. If it is defeated, we will vote on a first reading ordinance disallowing marijuana businesses in Princeton, and that vote will occur on October 7th. So with that said, I open it up to the council for discussion.
If I could, Mayor, could you clarify, I know you said District 17, and you said 75 licenses and up to 500. Is it 75 for the whole state?
Yeah, just starting out, correct. And I think the communities that have medical dispensaries already will get first shot at licenses, so they can either sell within where they are now or somewhere else. But the total number, I believe, is going to be 75, and then it will tier up from there.
So if we did, and just ask a question, we would have to apply to allow 1 or 3 licenses, or regardless, and the state would still have the final say.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be us, it would be anyone who wanted a license. So it would be a private enterprise, a corporation, or investors that would do the applying. And, the only thing that we would have to have on the books is an ordinance saying that we're allowing it. So, and the cost is high. It's quite an investment. So, in this area, I mean, I don't know what the chances are. I mean, we're not going to get 2 dispensaries, that's for sure. I don't think. It could be a shot to get 1. I don't know.
I'm just trying to sort in my mind that for those that are interested in buying legal marijuana in this area, where would they go? I mean, we're the largest community in the county. But I guess it depends on somebody's perception as a potential seller where his market is best served, whether it be here or LaSalle or somewhere else for that matter. I don't have serious thoughts about the marijuana debate, other than I know it's contentious. I wonder, though, if maybe having something on the books to maybe provide one license for the right person might not be a bad idea.
Yeah, one thing that with the dispensary in town, any community that has a dispensary in town can levy a 3% tax on the gross sales of marijuana. So that would be 3% based on what the licensing fee is going to be. In my opinion, 3% would seem to be a pretty significant amount that would come into the city for tax revenue.
I just don't know how I'm sorry, Ray. I don't know how someone could justify the cost based on the volume that they would get in a community our size. I don't know. It's a pretty high. They're selling a very expensive product in a small community. I just don't know how anyone could run the numbers and say, yeah, this is a good deal. I should come to Princeton and put down $150,000 to open up a storefront.
On the license, could we tack on our own amount? You had said the state is X amount of dollars, but then we have that option also to tack on what we choose if we did that?
I mean, as far as getting a license, yeah. I didn't see or hear anything in the law that would allow that. It was something to be looked at, though. The law is about 650 pages, so it's very lengthy, and there might be something in there, but I haven't seen it or heard of it. But we definitely look at that.
You're thinking along the lines of what we currently charge for a liquor license or something?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
And I think this is being handled totally to the state. I personally, just right at the start, I would not be towards having anything as far as marijuana. But if it goes to the community and the community does do something about it, I would suggest things as having strict regulations to go ahead and control that, obviously, and also to put monies aside to go ahead and maybe do a public education for our city as far as substance abuse from alcohol to marijuana use, and not just if it does happen. Like I said, I'm totally against the use of marijuana with my affiliations and my own personal life.
The state, regardless of whether we have a dispensary or not, the state's going to be collecting taxes for the dispensaries as well, and we are going to get, I think it's 1.5% of that in the distributed fund, and that money we're going to get regardless, and that money is to be used specifically for education, for enforcement, to what you speak of. So we'll have funds available to us for that specifically.
If I could just make a couple comments. First, I really appreciate the fact that you spelled out the time frame. So we've got another opportunity for the public to come on September 3rd for that half an hour, and if it lasts longer than half an hour, I'm sure you'll keep that meeting open to keep that dialogue going. I've had the opportunity to talk to a couple of ministers from local churches, and I told them that we were going to be discussing this tonight, but obviously no decisions will be made. That this is just an introductory dialogue, and their response was very much negative over this. One minister said it's cash over a moral obligation, and it's a complicated issue. There's no doubt about it. If I think what will happen is if the churches feel strongly enough, they'll be here on September 3rd, or they'll voice their concern between now and September 3rd to us, and we appreciate that. There's just I have some concerns, and I was thinking about a hybrid situation where, let's say that if we were to, and again, this is so early on with dialogue, but just to throw this out, let's say if we were to disallow the sale of recreational marijuana beginning January 1st, as well as other related items, with the idea that we revisit it 9 months later with the hope that we can learn from the communities that have elected to allow it and elected to receive it into the community, just to see how it's affected the community with policing, how much revenue they brought in, if there have been positive or negatives to it. So it could be a situation that, again, with public comment and dialogue, we may take a pass on this for the first 9 months, revisit it with the idea of learning from the other communities as to what they've done. Because I know that right now there's communities that already have said no blatantly said, no, we're not going to do it. But I certainly appreciate the fact that we can get some dialogue September 3rd from the community.
Yeah, it is it's going to be a contentious issue, and the thing is, marijuana, people are going to be smoking marijuana in Princeton beginning January 1st. It'll be legal. It'll be legal at your residence, your backyard, I suppose. It's going to be, people are going to be smoking here, and they're going to get their marijuana somewhere. And, so when you go back and forth on these issues, if we're sending people, if they have a dispensary in LaSalle or Spring Valley or whatever, and they're going over there and they're buying their product over there, they're leaving their tax money over there. And, so there's a lot of different angles to look at this. And it's again, we want to hear the pros and cons across both sides. We really need to hear from the public, whether it's, coming to the public forum in 2 weeks, contacting us up here, sending us messages, emails, whatever. We want to hear from the public. This has got to be a community decision across the board.
I'm not sure, but revenue is the first and foremost issue on our minds. I think it's just what is the right thing to do for the community? What is the community asking us to do here?
And certainly I agree with that part. As far as, I think though that revenue drives things, and I think the state of Illinois, they have different reasons why they passed this, but I won't get into that. That's at the state level. But we get down to our local level, we can decide then what we want to enact, and we say we, meaning the 7,700 residents of Princeton, and as the mayor said, not the 5 council members here. We put a lot of money and effort into the DARE program that's been very successful. We had a police officer that was recognized on the state level. So we're telling the kids not to use drugs. But when a 21-year-old, my fear would be as a 21-year-old going in there to buy drugs, or marijuana, I should say, I realize that's a drug, but in the sense of going back to to his buddies that might be 18 or 17, and there's a lot of talk about that the mind is, and the brain is still developing at those ages of 17, 18, 19, and that marijuana has been shown to have a negative effect on it. So I think we got a lot of moral obligation more so than we and I think again, I think there's going to be people that will give us the opportunity to comment on that moral obligation.
Yeah, and I would mention the law is 21 and over, and I as far as the use of marijuana, that's and as far as the state is concerned, you just mentioned revenue. In my opinion, the state only did this because they needed revenue. It's all revenue driven. There's no question in my mind on that, on the state level.
Something Ray was mentioning as far as what the brain developing, they typically say that the human's brain doesn't stop developing until age 25. So there's a lot of growth in there that might interfere with your brain development. They might cause certain things from psychosis to schizophrenia.
Any further comment on the council? Okay, so next meeting, September 3rd, 6:30, public hearing, and I'd like to see as many as we can, and depending on how many people show up, we'll have a time limit for speaking, but as Ray said, if we have a lot of people, we will extend it into our meeting time. So, nothing else? Any old business? Any new business?
Mayor, if I could, it's hard to believe, I know we have a holiday between now and Homestead weekend, but we've only got about 11 or 12 working days left. I call it working days for the different departments, and they're doing a good job. They're pecking away at a lot of projects, so I appreciate what the departments are doing and trying to make the town look good, and they got a target, and they're working forward. I know that the walkway there, is that correct? They're working on that project. Quick update, that's progressing along with the art.
Yeah, a couple things actually. I'm glad you brought that up. So that walkway is being done by the Princeton Public Arts Committee, and it is supposed to be, they're hoping they're going to dedicate it Homestead weekend. So everything, whatever they're doing up there, hopefully they'll have it already. The other thing, Rachel might have something to add on to that.
I was just going to say, yeah, the electric department is setting all the poles up there right now, and they've stayed in the walkway. The volunteers have, and they have a few other things, but their plan is Homestead weekend to have that project finished.
And another thing that we'll be dedicating on Homestead weekend, last year we put we had a group of citizens here in town do a fundraiser, and they got a star and a plaque for Richard Widmark, which they put up in front of the Apollo Theater, and it's, it really looks great. It's a great idea. So this year, Princeton Tourism, working with people that have donated money, have purchased a star and a plaque for Catherine Hayes. Catherine Hayes was on, she's from Princeton, she was born here. She was on As the World Turned soap opera for, I don't know, 40 years, I guess. She's moved back to Princeton, so we are dedicating a star and plaque to her. That'll go on the other side of the marquee. That'll be put in just in the days leading up to Homestead. That's going to be dedicated to her with a reception on, I think, Wednesday of Homestead Week. So a couple dedications coming up there. Any other new business? Public comment. Can I entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting and to reconvene at our next?
Move that we adjourn our meeting this evening and then reconvene again for our special meeting on September 3rd at 6:30 here at City Hall, and followed by our regular meeting on Tuesday, September 3rd at 7 o'clock at City Hall.
Second.
Motion to second, call roll.
Councilmember Swanson.
Aye.
Avery.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
Newman.
Aye.
Mayor Querem.
Aye, this meeting is adjourned, and thank you all for coming.